Blanket Plate represents The Center with your host, DC Radical One.
I'm Russell Lewis. I'm a licensed insurance agent. I'm an independent agent and I represent a plethora of different insurance carriers, and I offer a variety of insurance products and insurance services, including automobile, motorcycle, boat, general contractors insurance, long-term care, life insurance, motorcycle. Are you a landlord, have rental property? I work with Foremost Insurance to offer landlord insurance, renter's insurance through Progressive Insurance, as you see, which is one of many carriers I represent. Do you need to protect your business vehicle or your truck? Do you have a golf cart? I work with Universal Property and Casualty for your homeowners and property insurance, specific specialty. Does someone in your home or business need someone who speaks Spanish in the insurance carrier? I have carriers who do that. I'm also a licensed mortgage loan officer in the state of Maryland. I'm looking to expand to 4 to 5 other states in this coming year. And I offer a book to my potential clients on how to get the best mortgages. And a second book I offer to licensed realtors to help their clients prepare for the mortgage lending process. Do your clients or your clients need an estate planning program? We have an estate planning software program which I market and assist you with. And again, many carriers I work with in 16 states from New York down to Florida, over to Ohio, Michigan, Arkansas, Texas, and Colorado. North Carolina, South Carolina, Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Alabama, and other states. If you need insurance, give me a call at 443-622-0561. My web address is www.lewisfinancialgroup.net. You can reach me Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. until 6 p.m. And I'm also available on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. I look forward to serving you with all of your insurance needs. Give me a call whenever you're available. Thanks you again. Peace and blessings. Have a great day.
Excuse me. Greetings, friends, family, allies, and of course, enemies. I'm your host, DC Radical One, and you have entered the center, but you did not come to see me today. And I know that because I see some people I haven't seen in a long time. I'm not going to call out no names, but it's good to see you all. Be sure to hit the like button and share. Let me greet people I see. We got Sister Najee, BB488 Straight Black Pride, Sister Najee, BB488 27779311, BB488 Brother You Got Ripped Off, BB488 to Radiant Legacy, and BB488 to Sister Nefertaria. That's everybody I see in the chat. weirdly enough, okay, I see brother RBG, B before the brother, and B before the Bola. Um, so here's what's interesting, and then I'm gonna bring the brother on shortly. I notice a lot more sisters here today. I'm not going to take it personal that, you know what I'm saying, the sisters like Brother Genie more than they like me. I'm not, despite the empirical evidence, I'm not going to take that. Um, no, Sister Brother Genie speaking. That's an advertisement for Baba Latunji's book that you saw. But I'm not going to take up too much more of y'all time. But I did notice that. That's all I'm going to say. So, with no further ado, I don't think this brother needs any introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway. Here's the reality of the situation. In this day and time, on this continent, there is no stronger voice, no stronger spirit, no stronger person advocating for, fighting for the liberation and salvation of Black people worldwide and laying the foundation for global African dominion more so than this Black man that I'm about to bring on today. He is the modern day Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, the modern day Minister Malcolm X. He is the modern day Carlos Cooks and the current personification of the Irritated Genie, the spirit of the Haitian Revolution. And I want you all to be sure to acknowledge this brother and give him his flowers now. Because what Black people love to do is talk about how great people were back in the day, but we never acknowledge the people when they're here right now today. So I want you all to give him a digital hand and straight Black pride. Welcome to our brother Ayo Kimathi, the Irritated Genie. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fantastic.
Okay, you coming through loud and clear. Put the banner up, back up. First of all, just let the people know a little bit of what you've been up to lately. As far as your time on the African continent recently, and just let us know how that experience was and what went on with that.
Sure. So I had, thank you. It's an honor to be here as always. I actually had, let me see, it was 2-week trip planned. I think it was a 2.5 week trip. I was leaving in the beginning, early January, going to be back near the end of January. So just a couple of weeks planned, business trip going to Burkina Faso. Oh boy, let me tell you, it's been quite an adventure. And I had everything in line. Everything was working, was looking forward to moving forward the way I had planned. And lo and behold, somebody sends me, you all brothers and sisters always send the information. I used to do research now. I just look into things after I get it because so many people send stuff now. We get informed. So I feel great about that. I looked and saw something called the America First Global Health Strategy. And I never forget, because this happens a lot. I think for people who are familiar with me, you know me, so you already know what I'm about to say is true. I'll be set on one course and we'll be going to do something for our people. And something will happen that for me is such a threat and such an issue that I will take another fight in the midst of a major fight or direction that I'm going. So now you got multiple fights and multiple fronts. I was not, we know, all of us listening here, that there's a mass bioweapon genocide assault on African people. We know about Tuskegee. We know about AIDS. We know about the Fauci. So we familiar. We kind of know, but it's different when it happens on a major magnitude like the Fauci. When it went international and they shut the whole world down, we're like, whoa, wait a minute. This is something different. So having recently seen that, we kind of know when something's big. I mean, all of it is big. Some people trying to kill you, but I wasn't. When war comes, there's never a convenient time, I will say. But I'm preparing to go over to concentrate on some very big things that want to help the liberation of African people, the sovereignty of African people. We see what's happening in the AES. We like it. We want to contribute. We want to help. We want to make sure that they're successful. I was not looking forward to another fight, which is the same fight, but not on this level. And so I actually made the decision. I'm not going to go and look at that America First Global Health Strategy. I'm not going to look at it because I can feel it in my bones. I can tell you the honest truth. I don't even know. We might have discussed it, brother. I didn't want to look at it. Like I saw it, but I didn't even mention it too much. I was not going to even investigate it because I said this is going to change the trajectory of my trip to Africa. Because it's to have global health initiative strategy for Africa. Like that's where the focus was. And they had stated that it was for Kenya. So I was like, I don't want to see this because I know it's not going to be good. Anyway, I had a situation where I'm trying to avoid looking at that and concentrating on work that we want to do. And I was talking to somebody in South Africa. And when I was talking to the person in South Africa, what I found out was that they were talking about, they saw the video where they saw me testifying in Washington, D.C. against the Minor Consent for Vaccination Act, where they're trying to force anybody over 11 years old, because they were trying to mandate that everybody get injections in D.C. But even without the mandate, they were saying that if you're 11 years old or older, that you can be given an injection without your parents' knowledge or permission. They won't even know that you got it, which means you can get 10 or 12 of them. There's no telling. And that would be legal, which of course goes against every principle of parental control over your children and of capacity to protect children. It goes against every practical medical law that we can think of. Everything about it was wrong. So we fought that for 3 years. So long story short, the sister saw the video and we weren't talking about that kind of thing. She just saw the video. I was sharing it because we were discussing something. And she said to me, you know that they're trying to do this in South Africa. And she sent me a brother doing a video. They're trying to say in South Africa that all the children have to take an injection before they come back to school this year. So I said, what kind of injection? And they were like, and when I started talking to people there, they were like, they're not telling us. It's just very vague, but that it has to be injections and we have to sign up and agree to all the children getting them. And I was like, no, this doesn't sound right. We just fought this in America. So I was like, this sounds weird. Now that's South Africa. But I already heard about this America First global health strategy, and I don't want to look any further into it. So now, when that happens, I'm like, I probably should look into it, but I don't want to at all because I'm getting a little concerned. Then I get the phone call. I'd gone out to Vegas, did a podcast with Jake Shields, the white nationalist groups out there. And I did a podcast there. And, we talked about what the real problem is. And as we talked about that, I broke down what happened during the Fauci and the death protocol that happened in the hospitals, that it wasn't anybody dying of the Fauci. It was people being murdered by a death protocol that was set place in the hospitals. And I told exactly how that happened. Someone who saw that, and I'm gonna tell you that the way things happen, I'm just sharing the way it really happened. These are unimportant details, but so that the story one day, if it's ever told, people will know the story. This is kind of how my life works. I had not talked to this sister I met in Uganda for some time ago, some years ago. I hadn't talked to her probably in a year, probably, however long it was so long that the notion of speaking to her didn't come up in my mind. We didn't know each other's birthday. So she just happened to call me on my birthday, which is the reason it stood out to me. I was like, wow. I said, yeah, we started talking. I said, today is my birthday. And we laughed, whatever. So we went past that and we just talked. which was the only reason that, you know, when you reacquaint and talk to someone, now you're like, after the interview came out from November on the Jake Shields program, I sent it to a few people that I thought might like to watch it. Not based on anything I talked about the medical thing, but when I was talking about who the problem is. So I sent that around to a lot of different people on Telegram and on WhatsApp. I don't even use WhatsApp, but I just, this one time, for whatever reason, some said, shoot it out to a few people on WhatsApp. And because I had just talked to her on my birthday, and it was like a week or two later, I was like, let me send it to her too. I didn't really think she would watch it, but I just, you know, you tag a person. Sister calls me in tears. And I'm like, what's going on? And she was like, I watched that interview you did in Las Vegas. And I was like, wow, you watched that whole interview? It was long. She said, yes. She said, I can't stop thinking about it. I'm like, why? I mean, talking about, you know, who the problem is. She said, because I went through every phase by phase, what you talked about how they killed people in the hospitals with my mother. I said, yeah, your mom. She said, you remember I told you my mother had just passed? I said, she said, yes, and it was bothering me. She said, yes, it was because of what you just said. See, I didn't know that. I didn't know her mother died with the Fauci in the hospital. I had no idea what had happened. She said, everything you said, word for word, step for step. I was in the hospital. They tried to put me out of the hospital. I refused to leave. They wanted it. She said, but we didn't know what they were doing. We just knew it wasn't right. And she said, to the point where my sister can't watch it. I showed her and she was in tears. She can't finish watching it because our mother, her sister came and gave her a note. So our mother gave us this note, and it's in our language. It's not in English, saying they're trying to kill me here in this hospital. They want to kill me. They're trying to kill me here in the hospital in their language. And so they knew something was wrong. They spent over $40,000 trying to keep their mother alive, but they didn't know what they were fighting. They didn't understand what was going on. So they didn't know what to fight. They just knew they weren't going to leave their mother's side. And eventually she died in accordance with the entire protocol that we shared. So they feel a sense of guilt and they feel a sense of anger and sadness, just all of those roll into one. And when she called me about that, and I was like, this was in the US? She was like, no, we were in Uganda. I was like, whoa. I realized this protocol we saw that was national in the US. I was like, wow, this protocol was international. Then she said, and I want you to understand something. Lots of people died in Uganda. I said, it wasn't like the US. She said, not nearly like the US, but do you know why? I said, why? She says, because in the US, you all had access to hospitals. She said, out of everybody that we know in Uganda, 100% of the people that me and everybody that I know that I've asked know who died in a hospital. Nobody died at home. Nobody died who wasn't in a hospital. Which came back to me, yeah, because you didn't die from a sickness. You were murdered in a hospital. It's a death protocol. So it was like Amen was calling on me. The ancestors was shaking the tree on me and saying, brother, listen to us. Listen to us. Go read this America First global health strategy. So I pulled it up reluctantly. And as soon as I opened it up, it went through me. Like, I can't describe it. I could see it very clearly what they were doing because I had already fought this. I've been talking about this and fighting it since 2020. So it's like, it's so obvious and overt to me. I was like, this is crazy. I don't believe they're this overt in what they're trying to do. And so I instantly saw this is mass genocide on a level that I've only seen once in history. And that was with the blankets and smallpox with Pontiac and his alliance in North America. And the only thing about that was, even though I had seen it there, the difference was they didn't know. So it happened to them, but it didn't happen with them having any advance warning because they had no idea what this was. So this would be the first time that I saw it that we know what it is. So that concerned me significantly. I said, this is not good. This is concerning. We're looking at a situation where we can be exterminated. And we know what's coming because we've already seen it happen. And all we have to do is say no, and we could live. We just have to say no. It's not like it was in the past. We're not even. This is one we can defeat and win, because they have to get us to agree to poison ourselves and to pay for it and participate in the process in order for it to work. And I said, man, my whole trajectory of what I was going to Africa for over 2 weeks changed. So I said, okay, I'm not just going to Burkina Faso. Now I got to travel different countries. So I went to Burkina Faso. I went to South Africa. I went to Kenya. I went to Zimbabwe. I went to any number of them, Uganda, because I know what they're doing. I know with the source, I can see it. It's clear. And so I made a case for myself. I made a promise. I said, well, what I'm going to do, since they're starting in Kenya, no matter how long I have to stay in Africa, I have to go to Kenya, find a place where I do it publicly. And I have to go publicly and tell them exactly what's going to happen here. And so if you go to Straight Black Pride, on YouTube, you'll see Ayo Kimathi live in Kenya. I made it my business, with the help and support of people out there. Thank you for everyone who contributed. I don't even know if people have an idea of how important their contribution is, just not only to help me do what I'm doing, but for our people in our future. Everything has to be paid for. And I'd never planned any budget for this. And I stopped doing a lot of my business and sales of what I do when I went overseas because of the nature, what we were trying to do. So a lot of things have been on pause. So there's no money coming in except what the people contribute. Brothers and sisters, we did a lecture at Nairobi Museum, the National Museum of Kenya in Nairobi, publicly, and we streamed it live to YouTube so that everybody on the African continent and in America and in the islands, all African people around the world, will have access to it. We did this in February, brothers and sisters. Was it February? February or March? February. I think it was February. February or March. I think it was February. Yeah, it was February. We did it in Black History Month. February 5th or February 6th, something like that. February 8th. And it's still up there. You can go see it now. Go to YouTube. You want to watch this, brothers and sisters. We did it, told them exactly what was coming. This was in February, brothers and sisters. Bioweapon warfare to the entire continent to wipe our people out is coming. We did that. And I ended up being over there, left there, was in Kenya, traveled a few other countries, was planning to come back to the U.S. And guess what, brothers and sisters? I did not think that with this war, that with the AES and their relationship with the West, that there was any potential possibility that they would sign up to this. I misunderstood and was unfair. Nobody knows everything. They don't speak English. They speak French, which means they have a stronger relationship to understand how the French white man operates than the American white man. We take for granted that all white folks are the same because we just assume, living here in America, that they all have the same modus operandi. They may or they may not. In this case, I don't think they do. I think we're dealing with the most sophisticated white man and Jew and Gentile alike, the most sophisticated on the planet. A very sophisticated white man here. I don't think they understand the nuances of how they operate here the way we do, because we've had 400 years of surviving their genocidal antics. And those of us who've studied and are engaged in the survival of African people, we know. How do we not know? We've survived them. We're not in a very good condition, but we've survived. We're still here. I say that to say, I realized when they signed up, Burkina Faso and Niger, to the America First global health strategy, I said, they have no idea what this is. said, wow. And I was being unfair to them, thinking just because you're fighting a battle on the ground and winning, and we see Baba Traore, brilliant. I mean, the brother, was he a geologist? He's just brilliant. Military man, he's just brilliant, brilliant. Just the leader of all leaders, kind of. All three of them men, the warlord of all, They say the killers, cutthroats, and warlords. Baba Goita is my guy, man. I love Baba Goita, man. In Mali, them brothers over there getting it in. They doing it like you like to see war happen, where our people go and say, we will not tolerate abuse of our people. We'll show you better than we can tell you. I love them Mali brothers, man. So it's beautiful what we're seeing happening, but that doesn't mean they know everything all the time. They're not God. They become God when we all come together and support, so that any of the gaps we all feel, then they become God-like men, because they're representing the majesty of the race collectively. Individually, you can miss things because you're fighting day to day on the ground, full-scale kinetic war. Drones, just everything you can think of. They can't possibly know every single thing all the time. They didn't get this one right. So I said, I got to go back to Burkina Faso on the ground. I will not allow myself to say I was in the AES or in Africa, and this happened, and I did not alert the nation to the threat. I'm not going to do that. I won't leave without doing it. So I went back to deliver that message. So suffice it to say, I was in Africa for three months with an intention to be there for 2 weeks, all due to the support of the people. All my brothers and sisters out there who are listening, you supported through the Cashapp, $ Ayo Kimathi, $ Irritated Genie. You've gone to socialarchitects26.com or waronthehorizon.com. You go to waronthehorizon.com. You've gone to the support or donation or money payments. You go to the payments, you've donated. It's created a significant amount of support, and it's helping to get a victory. So now that you know my purpose being over there, and I'll just say a little bit more, then I'll come back to the brother, but I think it's good for me to just flow right into what that led to. So we did that. What I recognized was putting that message out. It got to Zimbabwe. If people saw, Zimbabwe said, nope, we're not doing it. We're rejecting it holistically. Zambia came right behind them and said, yep, we too, Zambia, we're rejecting it. We don't want this bill. 30 nations accepted it. We would later see, after I went to Burkina Faso and left there, right after I left, a country that borders Burkina Faso, Ghana, they pulled out and said, no, we're not doing it either. So we have 3 nations that have rejected it. And Kenya, thank goodness, Kenya's legislature has said, we will not accept this. We will not agree to it. We're not going to do it. So with that having happened, we had 4 places that were resisting, but a lot of the other parts of the African continent were accepting it. And what I found was, once I started talking to people in positions that can make a difference on the African continent, what I found was, unfortunately, there are people, the good thing is there are people on the ground who find out what it really is, know, instantly they're going to fight to pull back and not accept it. For the ones who are not sure and not certain about what's occurring, or get the information, and they know what's happening, but they get paid to facilitate and allow the stuff to happen. No matter how much power they have or what they can do not to do it, they want their money. What did that mean? That meant, yes, it's important to let the people in positions of power who can affect change know. But like the Fauci, this is not something that they just do to the leaders of your organization or your company. Every person is going to be told, take this jab. Come let me stick you. The genocide is for all of us. So you got to let the people know too. Usually when you're doing something, you're trying to either communicate to the people or you're trying to communicate to the leadership that can affect what happens with the people. In this case, you got to do both, because you don't know until you know if it's going to be the people or the government officials who are going to give the strongest pushback. If the government officials or if the churches, if the leadership pushes back, then you're fine. You just stick with the leadership. If the people are the ones pushing back and the leaders are taking the money and don't care what happens to the people, then you got to get it to the people. So I had to regroup and say, okay, how do we get this message out to make sure that it not only gets to the leadership, but that it bypasses any type of blocks and gets to the people. We know we have it on YouTube, but you still have to get people to that YouTube page to watch that video to know what's going on. We got to get it directly in the veins of the people. So somebody had made a suggestion to me and they said, why don't you go ahead and write a paper? I'm like, what's a paper going to do? People don't read a lot now, but they said about 4 or 5 times and eventually it sunk in my head. Wait a minute. Of course, you know me. Why don't I write a paper? I said, no, we have a website, our Social Architects website. It's about, we're about African survival in the 21st century. That's our 21st century theme right now. African survival in the 21st century since 2014. That's been our theme. And we're really dealing with African survival in the 21st century. Why don't we just put it there available for everybody to get? So again, we had to raise funds, went out, got some funds, brothers and sisters. Really, it was, we didn't even really ask for the funds. We just raised them in what we do. For this particular situation, we put money together. It was not free, brothers and sisters. Which when you go to our website, waronthehorizon.com or socialarchitects26.com, when you go, same website, socialarchitects26.com. When you go there, you'll see Brother Malcolm X. We released it on his birthday, May 19th. We thought that was an honor that he deserved. And it was a warning to African people about the mass genocide that's being waged on African people. But we said, how do we do it? So we wrote it from a historical perspective, starting out with the history of it in America, starting out with Pontiac and his alliance, how America was formed through bioweapon warfare, blankets and the smallpox. We show it. Then we did something that's very innovative and revolutionary in terms of information sharing. We didn't just show it for those who may not like to read. Because it's a short paper. It's only 15 pages. If you can read English, we wrote it in a way, if you can read at an 8th grade level, you can read this whole thing front to back. But even if you don't like to read, we have videos and links that you can tap and go directly to that will show you evidence based of the things that we're telling you. So you could actually, for people that don't like to read, you can just go watch video to video to video to video and be like, oh, that's what's going on. Yeah. Okay, we get it. So we did that so that, and usually when you go to a book and you say, does it have references? An academic paper, does it have references? You see the references, but you don't have access to them. We did it different. We created a whole entirely new, different referencing structure, the SAR. And what that does is when you have references, you have direct, immediate access to them. So we have QR codes, we have direct links to the same thing so that you can go and have access immediately to the references. And now you know who did it, who said it, where it is for you to verify. 15 pages with starting out with the history of bioweapon warfare against Native Americans to start out with, but then Black people in America. Then we go through to the modern 21st century efforts, which happen in America and Africa. And then we show how this aligns with what they're trying to do now. So we drew the line of signature of a historical perspective. This is where they are in bioweapon warfare. They're coming for the Black race, particularly to the African continent, to wipe us out. This is not an exaggeration. It's not hyperbolic. This is exactly, precisely the level and extent of the extreme of what we're faced with. And we tell you who the players are too and where they are. It's all there. And we said we're going to make it easily accessible. People go to socialarchitects26.com. Anywhere in the world on the internet, you go there, you get it, you can download the paper so they can't take it from you. You download it, now you have the references. And even if they delete those references from YouTube, we have it backed up somewhere else. There's a link at the very bottom. You click that, you can go and download those videos for yourself. So if you wanted to do that now, you could go to the bottom of the paper, take that link, put the QR code on it, go there, and then download all of those videos. You'd have them for yourself. So now you own those videos so that if they ever disappear and you want to be able to prove and share this information, you have it available. So we made something very practical. You can download it to your computer. You can print it on your printer. Whatever you want to do to share this information, we just ask that people do not change the information. You can add something on as an addition, but not part of the paper, but just share information. But we want as many people around the African world to read this as possible. it's been having a major impact on people. We've been getting calls from the African continent. It's affecting people. We've been getting calls from people in America. This thing is really getting Black people to wake up. And if you're paying attention, Black people are starting to talk about genocide on the African continent. No sooner did we put this paper out, all of a sudden did Ebola start to break out. All of a sudden, this paper's out. Now Ebola's breaking out. And now they're asking Kenya, well, what are we going to do? American citizens who have Ebola, we're not going to send them to America. We're going to send them to Kenya. You create the space where we can drop off Ebola in your country. And the people in Kenya are going bonkers. And as bad as what they're doing with that is, our people in Kenya still in mass have not gotten access to the information that we made available to them in this same paper, which talks about some of the things that they've done in Kenya in recent years, 2014, 2023, chemical biological weapons testing on Kenyan women. We have it in the document so that they can see and verify for themselves. So suffice it to say, brothers and sisters, right now, I'm not exaggerating. We are in a full-scale, all-out resistance war against the mass extermination of Black people on the African continent through bioweapon warfare. And it's not going to fight itself. It's going to require brave Black African people who understand what's going on to stand up and fight. And there are people doing it. I'm one of them. So I'm telling you that there are people doing it because I'm certain. I know. And I want your help and support in doing that. Let me give you, I can't tell you everything, but let me just say this. I'm not just talking. I wasn't born to just talk. I can show you better than I can tell you. We're in a kinetic war for our survival. Any support, and I want you to understand, it starts in Africa. It doesn't end there. I want you to hear me. This is the fight you want to support. Again, that's $ in Cash App, Ayo, Ayo Kimathi, Kimathi, or $ Irritated Genie. Your support goes a long way. You have no idea. Or you can go to waronthehorizon.com or socialarchitects26.com. Go down to the store, which you get to faster at waronthehorizon.com, and go to the payment section and donate what you can. Every dollar is going to the supporting what we're doing. We are sending this paper around to people all around the world. Physical copies and soft copies. The soft copies are free. Just email them. We ask you to share it. Get it, send it out, let everyone know. The hard copies that are being delivered to people, we got to pay for those. We got to print them. It's a lot of work involved in this, a lot of effort. We ask for your support with that. With that said, I want to bring my brother Conrad back in and see if he has any questions or comments. Thank you, my brother.
Hey, how you doing, brother? I can't even express to people how important the work you're doing is. I'm going to ask you this, brother, real quick, and be a real quick answer. Is there any other person, group, or organization or nation state that was aware of the information you put out before you put it out? Like, did anybody say, oh yeah, nah, we already knew that, but thank you, brother? Like, was there anybody doing the work that you were doing?
No, I'm glad. That's an excellent question. I tell you, the first answer is no. There were a few people who had heard, remember, we're on the African continent, a few who had heard of Tuskegee. They weren't necessarily that well informed, but some of them had been to America, so they had heard of Tuskegee. Planned Parenthood or family planning, they are familiar with that. A few of them have heard of Margaret Sanger. Most looked at her as a positive thing, the family planning. Like, they didn't know that this was genocide. They had no idea. So to answer your question, and outside of those two, most of these things, the Flexner report, they've never heard of. What happened with the bioweapon warfare and the death by genocide, death protocols in the hospitals, nobody knew. The information on NSSM 200, they have no idea. Pontiac, the thing that really blew them out the water, that the way America was formulated and formed was bioweapon warfare through the blankets with smallpox. They had no earthly clue. 0% idea of that being a reality. 0%. 0%. So,
And
go ahead.
I was getting ready to say the reason I brought that up, brother, is so people can understand how important it is. People, I say this all the time. In real time, it is extremely difficult, even when you're plugged in, to know the importance of the moment, right? You and I, we've lived through this. We've been doing work for decades. We were around the Million Man March, and we, we talked about that last night. And just other things, the Bambala thing in what was that, 2016, I believe, and just some other things that have gone on. And a lot of times, the people who aren't directly in the fight don't realize how important what someone is doing is. And it's easy to get distracted. And, life, to be honest, life right now is hard on everybody. Like America is being destroyed from the inside out. So if you're here, you're feeling the effects. But I just want to say this. The work that this brother is doing, myself, Straight Black Pride, War on the Horizon is doing, is literally, and this is what I have called it, brother. I don't even know if we talked about this. You know how the Nation of Islam used to say the life-giving teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You know how they used to say that. I tell people these are the life-saving teachings of the Irritated Genie. Literally, the information he provides will save your life. And our people around the world need to know, because we know for a fact that people have said they want to exterminate us. And it's so bad, they have said, not just black people, there's a certain group of people who said they want to pretty much remove 2/3 of the people on the planet and save the rest for enslavement. These are facts. You can look this stuff up. They're saying it openly now. No one's covering up anything.
Actually, no, I'm just going to jump in. They're different numbers that they're giving. Sometimes the numbers they're quoting are 90%.
Okay, well, at least 2/3. either way, let's put it like this. If anybody's talking about removing more than 50% of the people on the planet, you best believe they starting with black people, no matter where we are. And so I just wanted to emphasize that. Sister Najee had a question, and I wanted to get your answer to that before it disappeared. She said, let me put this up on there. She said, did we ever get any data on those trying to detox from the jab? Any solid fertility slash shedding data on what happens to those that took it?
Well, excellent question. Let me contextualize it. It wasn't a thing where every jab was the same. So that's why some people just died when they took the injection. Some people just died because it was a death. Like it's a poison. As soon as you take it, you're going to die. Other people didn't die that fast and die like that. But maybe in a year or two time, they passed and had sudden death. Others are walking around fine, don't have any symptoms that they know. But from what we understand, if they got a placebo, they're fine. It's like they didn't do anything. If they got some of these other injections, the things they have going on in their body are just a ticking time bomb. They're like those pagers and walkie-talkies that the Israelis gave the soul to Hezbollah. They waited 10 years before they detonated them, and then kaboom. So right now, inside the veins of people around the world are deadly cocktails waiting to die for many, not all. Some people just got a placebo. I have no way of knowing. What we do know is what's happening. There are all kind of protocols that people are providing that say that they'll help to detox. And I'm certain they will help to detox. Will they absolutely undo the damage that was done? Any of them that were mRNA, any of them that were gene editing, any of them that dropped payloads off that are still in the body? I have no way of knowing. I don't know. And there's information out there that there are things that are helping to regulate things like blood clotting, regulate things like a lot of the dangerous parasites that are growing and destroying the body, cancers and turbo cancers and things of that nature. So there are things that can mediate, I think have been demonstrated can mediate, but in terms of can you reverse if you got the full weight of the graphene oxide and the nanobot technology that they were dropping into people, if you got the full cocktail, is there a way to undo it? I don't know.
Yeah, brother. Was always the thing I worried about, was the gene editing aspect, which was the most dangerous aspect, because I mean, when you alter your DNA, that alters the essence of who you are, and that's passed on genetically. So that's what made that so dangerous. And they publicly, you can look up the information, they publicly have talked about that. BB48 raw Ito Vital. Well, let me ask you this real quick. Do you have any plans to present part of the paper today, or would you like to do that at a later date?
Why don't we see what the people think? Because definitely, I think, matter of fact, let me put in the chat here. I'll put in the chat where people can go to get the paper. I think I'll put that here. So the paper is there. It's on socialarchitects26.com. And then I'll also give people the actual website here. Let me put this where you can actually get the actual download, the actual document right there. You click that, you can download it right there. So if people want that, if they think that that's worth doing, then not a problem. Otherwise, I guess we can just talk about other things. If I don't know if that's something people really want to see the paper and see what's on it, or if having the direct link there could do it. I don't know.
Okay. I'll just tell the people, if y'all want to see, y'all want the brother to present part of the paper, just put a 1 in the chat and we'll do that. Past a little bit past the top of the hour. What I'm gonna do past the top of the hour is put up one more ad and then we'll go from there. Brother, I know this is gonna sound like a ridiculous question, but because of the type of situation we're in psychologically right now, could you please explain to those who may be confused, because you said that this is a threat to the African continent. Can you explain to those people who say they are not African why this information would still be a threat to Black people here in America and places in the West?
Sure. If you're Black Indian, that's fine. The people that are doing this to kill the world, you Black. They don't care if you say you Black. Matter of fact, they don't care if you're Black or not. You can say, no, you're white. They don't care. You can be white too. They're trying to kill everybody. They're trying to kill 90% of the people or the population of the planet. They've said and stated that they're trying to kill 90% of the people, and they're killing anybody that's not them. So what you saw in 2020, no jab, no job, 2021, and 2020 with the sickness, is about to hit the U.S. again. When it does, they're not going to be interested in negotiating with you about what you're going to do. They're going to criminalize not taking the jab, and then they're going to force it on people. So you can sit here and not be concerned about chemical biological warfare now and just wait for your opportunity. Or you can understand how important it is. If you get resistance from there, you're going to get resistance from here. Because what I want you to understand is, if we don't resist, they're just going to outright kill everybody and we all die. If we start to resist, I want you to understand, it's not just like we have the numbers. We do have the numbers, but you're counting the numbers of everybody who's not one of them. The problem with that is they have a trick up their sleeve that we would have to understand, and it's a dangerous one. We can't count the people who didn't take the jab, who are not one of them, who want to rise up, and count them to be in the fight if they took the jab, because we don't know what happens when they start playing games with what's going on inside of people's body. So we can only count on the people who didn't take the jab and decide that they do want to fight back and resist, whether it's in Africa or anywhere, because we don't know how many people we have left in fight mode anymore. How many people didn't take the jab and are not going to take the jab? We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen when they start activating these 5G towers and 6G towers and playing with the frequencies to trigger unloading these payloads that are in people's body. That, I mean, they talked about the technology with the TheraGrippers. They put a payload of any disease they want. They put Ebola in you, you will start bleeding out of your nose, mouth, ears, just like the same is with, I think, similar Marburg. I mean, they put this inside of the payload of the TheraGrippers, then inject those into what look like liquid form shots. You take the injection, and now they're downloading nanobot technology and payloads with deadly, dangerous viruses inside of them that they can remotely unlock and unleash that inside of you. I can't undo that. If I can, I don't know how to do it. And we don't know. So people need to understand, you have to support anybody that's fighting this, because we're only in the first stages. We're trying not to let them just kill everybody. We haven't dealt with the fact they've already loaded their poison in a significant amount of people. And we don't know how that's going to affect. We've seen more people died in the last, since 2000, than any time that we've seen in the history of the world in terms of the numbers of deaths and the percentage of deaths. Nobody's talking about it because the people that would tell us about that are the people that are doing it. But the kind of death rates we're seeing among young people, and what's going to happen to future generations of children who were born with these changes to our DNA, we have no idea how far ahead of us they are in terms of mass genocide. We don't know. So it's going to affect you directly because you're in a war that you don't even understand or know about. And the few people that can fight it now for making it get worse, if you don't support them now, you're not going to have anybody to support you tomorrow. And that's anywhere in the world.
Yeah, brother, you just made me think of something. And I never really thought that I would say something like this, but how important is it for unjabbed people to get together and start reproducing just as a counterweight to what we know is coming, but how it'll be implemented? We don't know. Like I never thought, I don't advocate just random reproduction, but when I think about it, and you tell me what you think, the people we dealing with, I've said this before, are literally the personification of death at their core, the essence of what they are. They do what they are. In essence, when we're in our right mind, we are the personification of life. How important is it for us to simply, in essence, do what nature calls for as a counterweight against the ongoing and upcoming genocide?
All right, so let me say that to answer that easily. In 2018, we did a lecture called Straight Black Pride. It was Straight Black Pride 100-year plan. We did it at our, I forget what year it was, anniversary. It was an anniversary of the Straight Black Pride movement in Atlanta at the House of the Black Madonna. You can get that DVD online. You get the electronic copy. I think it's $20, $25, something like that. You can get the hard copy. Watch that. In that, I want to show you how far ahead of the thing we were. In 2018, in that lecture, the 100-year plan, we said, because we know they're going to be involved in chemical, biological warfare, we need to triple our population globally. I'm going to say it again. In the lecture, the 100-year plan, we discussed tripling our population, understanding that chemical, biological warfare is going to be part of the design of mass genocide, and our survival depends on us being able to outproduce their destruction. So the simple answer to your question is yes, we need to be doing it. I'm not getting into the practical nature of being prepared to raise the families properly and all of that. All of that, none of that changes. We're just talking about math now, about survival. The second thing I want to say is somebody wrote a question and somebody answered it, but I have a different answer. Somebody said, what's the conclusion of your travels in Burkina Faso and the move to inform them of the deadly U.S. contract signed? It was also later explained that the health contract was from a previous deal. True? Okay. I was able to deliver it to the youth, but unfortunately, to be honest, I met with government officials, but how do I want to say it? I got to discuss a lot of things with them, but they weren't open to hearing anything on this level. So what I did as a second alternative was when I did the lecture with the youth, Mind Your Black Business, since my business is African Survival in the 21st Century, I used that lecture with the young people at the University of Ouagadougou, Kizerbo, to deliver at the end of the lecture the danger that they were facing with bioweapon warfare and its America hurt, with just really the bioweapon warfare and what it means if the country signs up to this. So I left it there knowing that they were filming it, they would share it, and the objective is to get it to a higher level there and to the right people. And I've also sent it to people who I've met with at higher levels that they would be able to get it. So it's there. This paper is there in places. Did it get to the right person at the right place in the right time? I can't say that. Do they have it? Yes. Did I make certain? Yes, they have it. It's been sent to them. They've been made aware. I can't honestly say if Baba Traore has any idea or has seen it. I doubt he's seen it, which is unfortunate because I'm positive if he saw it, he would look through it, he would consider it, and he would also understand that he's a brilliant man. He would get it. But that's where I'm still struggling to get it to that level because I already know once he sees it, some things would change. I'm confident of that. Somebody here said yes to the fact that that they signed up to was something that already existed. No, as far as I know, that's not the case. As far as I know, this is not something that was left over from a foreign regime. No, they actually fell for it. Not fell for it like they fully signed up to their own genocide, but like they've said, yes, we'll accept the blankets. They don't know that the blankets have smallpox. That's the way I would say it. I don't agree with people saying that they know, and I don't agree with that. Baba Chiani in Niger recently accepted from the U.S., quote unquote, medical supplies. Those medical supplies include uniforms. I don't need to tell you the potential of that. Y'all live out there. Y'all are smart. Y'all are wise. The Niger, Chiani, Baba Chiani, Abdurrahmani Chiani in Niger accepted that on behalf of Niger, and now they have those things there. I wouldn't have done it. I don't think that these guys are bad. I don't think anything bad about these men. They're doing too much great work. I think we have not reached them to let them know, do you understand who you're dealing with? And the answer is a simple one. No, they've dealt with the French. And I think all of us get our egos into it. Like we think that, oh, well, if they know what they're dealing with, they deal with the French. We assume that the French is the white man in America. They're a little different. They might be of the same ilk, wanting to be destructive, but they have different modus operandi. This white man in America is sophisticated. We know. We're supposed to be making sure that they know. And I don't know that we've done the best job in doing that. So my answer to that is, I don't agree with what the person said that this was something that was done beforehand. I don't think so. I think they fell for this new trick. I don't mean they've fallen for it like we don't know. We haven't seen the outcome of it yet. But I don't think we want to wait for the outcome before we realize let's look more carefully as we move forward of our direction.
Oh. Yeah, brother. And you said so. Okay, go ahead, brother.
All right, don't forget what you're about to say, please. I don't want to cut you, but I just don't want to forget this. somebody asked the question, is there a test that can be taken to determine if you have any of the gene editing mRNA in you, and can this stuff be reversed and things of that nature? I'm gonna just tell you the truth. At this point, I don't know. What I know is this: when they look in people's cells, they can see a lot of coagulation occurring, which leads to blood clots. They can see a lot of things happening with people's blood as it's fragmenting and it's starting to be destroyed, and cancers are being developed. Those things, there are tests to be able to look at that. There are tests to be able to take a look at your blood and see what condition it's in. So that's what I would answer. Go ahead, my brother.
No, I was getting ready to say that it's important that you tell people that everybody can't know everything. And that's the importance of Black people sharing information around the world, because our experiences with, like you said, the American, European, our experiences with the Zionist European, which more and more people are starting to get aware of, that, you know, some of the stuff we see is some of the stuff we've experienced is directly from the Zionists, not only their mind, but their actions. Those experiences are not necessarily the experiences of people on the continent. Like you said, the French have their own peculiarities. And if some French people came here and let's say where we at in colonized Washington, D.C., the things that they would do that we were like, oh yeah, no, we used to that. We could, they'd be doing something totally different. And first, the thing you have to do is even learn to speak the language to even know what was going on. So we can't just suppose that everyone is aware of every form of attack. It's like the NFL. Just because you're prepared for the Commanders' defense this week does not help you against the Patriots' defense next week. It doesn't work that way. And they have different systems, and you have to prepare for those as that opponent comes up. And brother, go ahead, brother.
If I can say something on what you just said, and it's just there's a relevance coming up that I'll be talking about in different ways, but to your point, since we know and have lived for 400 years under the white man here in America and the Zionists, we know what we're dealing with here, brothers and sisters. So I'll just give you an example, the difference. The minute you start dealing with the French white man, let me tell you instantly what you're dealing with. If he was to come and he took over Washington, what happens now? I'm just telling you the way they operate. Systematic, intentional, mass, organized raping of men. They would literally go door to door, pull the men out, take them to a facility, and have 10 white men standing behind them and rape all of them. You get raped by 10 men in a row, and then they'll send you back. This is just part of French warfare. A lot of people don't know that. Like, that's how the French operate. There ain't no men not getting raped in French war. It doesn't. They're a bunch of fruitcakes, man. But they sick. I'm telling you, like, there's two groups that do that: the French and the Hats. Organized gang rape of men is part of the process, but the French do it a little more. The Hats kind of just vile. They just do everything: men, women, children. They do everything. The French is very specific. They rape the men first. That's the first step. Get the men out here, come line them up, and they rape them all. That's French. That's real talk.
Yeah, brother. And I remember when you were telling me some of the information that you got from the continent, and I just, yeah. That's all I can say. We're gonna move on to brother. You got ripped off. He had super chat, so we need to read that. He says, awareness of this genocidal agenda is important. To make that happen, are you seeking audience for government officials or public streamers? Is this a top-down or bottom-up awareness campaign?
It's actually both. Excellent question. The answer to that is yes, yes, and yes. So yes, we've reached out to public officials. Yes. Yes, we've reached out to bloggers and people online. Yes. Yes, it's a down up. We want the people on the ground to get it, see it, and hear it, and take it up. Yes. We want it to be a top down where it's coming from the top and implementation is happening. Yes. Because of the nature of it, and because of the nature of how Africa is organized now, you don't have solid, committed, genuine leadership in some of the countries. So you don't know if the leadership is going to care as long as they get paid. Or some of them might be like, you know what? Since we're getting paid, they might go and say, hey, look, you know that this person is putting this information out. If you give me some money, I'll tell the group not to do it because they're thinking about doing something on this behalf. Like, it's just honestly, you're dealing with a corrupt, and it's not everywhere. Some places, when they find out, they're going to do the right thing. Since we don't know and we can't measure it that way, you shoot at everybody. You shoot it at the people. You shoot it at the legislatures. You shoot it at the presidents. You see, because if you get a president to see it, it doesn't matter about the rest of the corruption. You win. If the president is not going to care or doesn't see it, but you get legislators and people in policy who are right over the health sector, then it doesn't matter. The president is going to sign what if they with them, then they'll do it and it's done. If neither of the above cares and they'll take money to let this happen to their people, even if it's mass genocide, well, the people don't care about what they'll take money for. They're not going to allow genocide to happen to them. So if the people in mass are against it and they see that their leaderships are pushing it, well, their leadership might start having problems. So it is better that we don't judge which way is going to work better, because I think case by case, different country by country, it'll be different. But in some cases, you have good leadership who just might be so bogged down in dealing with kinetic warfare that they're not looking at this type of kinetic warfare. And it would be the people whose voice would force them to open up and hear another side. So they wouldn't stop what they were doing, but they might have to listen to this too and say, all right, we didn't see that. Okay, now we get it. Let's deal with that too. And then in other cases, you might have leadership who are the good ones. And now they have to figure out, how do we get this to our people? What we've now done is given them a tool. All right, the people are not going to believe this other stuff, but if we give them this paper coming from the US, from African people, tell them about what they're doing, and it's happening in Africa, and it's easy to understand, and there are videos they can watch, let's do that. We can use this as a training tool and take pieces out and share it with our population. We can do programs of it on television. We can do podcasts of it. We can do radio and TV on it and educate our population to it. It can be done. There's no reason it can't be done. We made it in a simple, easy format that they don't even have to go through us. They can take that as the base and work through it. So excellent question. It's all of the above, and we're doing all of those things. We're going every direction. It's not just, I won't say too much. I'll just say we're going every direction to get this information out, and we want the people out there to share.
Yeah, brother. Real quick, I got another question. I'm gonna bring it back to the U.S. We've seen major cases now with the assassination of the young man in, I believe, South Carolina by the Asian shop owner. We have the trial of Carmelo Anthony. I think has already started. And I think there's another case, but I'm drawing a blank. Just speak to the conditions here in America as far as racial unrest that you see being fomented for this summer, because we know, everybody in America knows that Black people basically wake up in summertime. And the time that if you want to get us irritated and make us react, you pretty much start right about now.
Yeah, I would say this. A few things. Water under the bridge is not much we can do. If we had understood how valuable Grandmaster Jay and the NFAC what do you call it? Mobilization campaign could have become. If it had gone from mobilization to organization, right now we would have been built in a way as Black America where we will have fomented and effectively had a solution to police brutality and white aggression. Because they would have known at any given moment, if you want to start it, we'll finish it. We'll be there. We're going to come see you. And no one has ever organized like that in this country, where they could snap their finger and 1,500 people would be there, AR-15'd out, ready to go within the law. We did not take proper advantage of that. I won't blame the people alone. I say there were any number of factors, but we don't we don't always know how to do with things maturely, and we missed on that. Having said that, we're in a situation now where we're back at square zero. We would have to create something to address what we're about to face. And in order to push this whole Zionist overthrow of the world, they're going to create the kind of chaos and mayhem for the economic destruction. And they've already started the process of trying to re-enslave Black people in America. You can't vote, or they can make laws that don't allow you to vote, right? They're redrawing districts. They're doing everything to seize power from Black people there. They're doing house buys in Brooklyn, New York, literally rolling up on people saying, hey, that's my house, bringing the police and taking Black people's houses. I'm not even exaggerating. They're doing house buys. We're facing all-out warfare in multitude of ways in this country. And honestly, because we think we some Black Indians, we don't understand why it's so important. If we understood that we have 1 billion brothers and sisters on the African continent who maybe not all of them are doing right, but are engaged in kinetic warfare and are on the rise now, the youngest population of people on the planet, and they're ready for some aggressive action. If we understood our understanding, our capacity, our knowledge, and our ability to be an effective support for what they're doing, they could get strong. We would have a support base for what we're facing here. Honestly, right now, as it stands, I'm just basically, I hate to say it, you got to almost kind of let what's going to happen, let Black people realize what they're dealing with. And when they then decide that they want to do something about it, I'll be there. Give me a call. But we'll be starting over. We'll be starting over from ground zero, unfortunately.
Yeah, brother. I basically came to knowledge in the nation, and part of that lesson says, "Speak to warn the wicked man from his wicked ways to save his life." And those who do not heed the warning are left to die in their own iniquity. And we're at that stage of the game, unfortunately, where you have to let people figure it out or not. And I'm not gonna lie, it is disheartening because there was a lot of work put in during the 2010s, and as we talked about last night, we faced a lot of enemies, and we didn't know where they were coming from or what their motivation was. But it's hard to fight a war with people shooting you in the back. I just put it that way. So this is what I'm gonna do, brother, to give you time to get some water or anything. I saw a handful of people say that they would like to see the paper, so it's up to you. We're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna run this advertisement, and then we'll finish out the next hour of the program. Is that all right with you, brother?
I'd like to finish without doing a whole hour. If we can go to maybe 4 o'clock, would that work for you?
Yeah, that's fine. Or you want to not take the break and just go straight through to 4 o'clock? I mean, we can do that if that's what you want.
We can take the break if you want. It's fine with me. However you want to do it. It's up to you.
Okay. Well, since we only going to 4 now, let's just run through it. Okay. So that way we'll be out the way, and the people that want to attend the complementarity conference, they can do that, because that is coming up at 4 o'clock. So
beautiful.
The people that want to do that, we can do that way. I don't think, I'm trying to see if there was any other questions. Well, let me say this, brother. Tell me what you think about this, because I've thought about this for a while. Our elders and ancestors prepared us for a lot of things. One of the things I don't think they prepared us for was what happens if Black people accept integration, which is where we are now. What is there any way to unravel our identity and our fate from the people that the society that we currently live in? And I hope I'm stating that clearly. But there was a time, even up to the time when we were young, where even though laws had been passed and technically America was integrated, societally, black people lived on one side of the town, other people lived on the other side of town. We kind of went to our own schools. We had our own music. We had, we were doing our own thing. We just had access to public buildings and things like that. Now it's very much different. Socially, I see our people, socializing with other people, especially the young people, imitating those people socially, doing the things that they do and all this stuff, much to our detriment, I believe, because our population is going down. And I believe part of that is we have, as I did the video, we have become them. Is there any way to reverse that? Or is that something that you have to let people learn the hard way?
I think better than reverse it, we can push a trend towards black. You know what? Let me stop talking. All right. Let me just answer honestly. We're either going to support the AES, help them. They were in total winning position. Now they've made a few bad moves on the chessboard, but that happens in war. Help them get back completely, totally correctly on track to victory. And then spread that African sovereignty personality across the African continent and the African world community, or we're doomed. Like ain't no, it's not no, I'll be lying to you to give some fancy. If you don't know you're an African at this point, you may have something that is of temporary value and good for our people. And I'm not saying you're not a value, but I'm looking at the long haul. If you don't know you're an African and you don't know that you're supposed to be contributing to Africans and our survival as a race of people, unless you change at some point in the future, you're of temporary value. If we're going to survive, we're going to have to reunite with our African identity and look for African global unity and find a way to make it palatable and work, and we're gonna have to implement it. It's not going to fix itself. There's no fun way to deal with this. This is real kinetic war that we're dealing with, and we got to be serious, and we got to go out here and do something to make things change.
I just want to tell the audience, if y'all have questions, because we're basically opening up for questions for the last half an hour. You can put them in the chat. If you want them asked first, you can contribute via super chat.
Can I make a request? Because I have a bunch of things that I have that are going on. Honestly, if we don't get a bunch of questions right now, if we could cut it at 3:30, that would be of a huge benefit to me. Because I don't want to stop if people have a bunch of questions and stuff like that. But I really have some things that I really need to do that are very much in line with what we're talking about right now. And so I'd like to do them now if we don't have a bunch of questions that people really want to ask, and that's the case. And I'll answer anything you want me to answer and the people, but I'd really like to end at 3:30 if we don't have more engagement.
Okay. Well, I give people a chance to ask their questions real quick, and then if we don't have anything, we'll just close out. Well, let me ask you this. Do you have plans to go back to the continent? And how important is it to get back there and continue to work?
Let me just say it this way, and everybody read between the lines. My name is the Irritated Genie, the angry spirit, resistance against tyranny. We are facing kinetic real time. We are going to wipe you out, genocide on the African continent. Would I know that that's happening and not be there to say no? You answer that. Then if you can support, $$ Ayo Kimathi, $, Irritated Genie. I'm only here for one life that I know of, and I'm going to use it to the best of my ability.
Brother Tony asked, he wants to know what is the on the ground situation in Mali. It is very difficult to get information here that is unbiased.
So in Mali, they are okay. Let me tell you, I'm on a Telegram group. This, and I'm answering this in this way. If you're a sister, close your ears. If you're not a person that likes graphic dialogue, let me answer it two ways. For the sisters and the young people listening, they're fighting back against the terrorism that's occurring from Arabs and blacks under there's Arabs and black groups that are being sponsored by France, Israel, Ukraine, and some Arab groups, and they're killing innocent black people in the Sahel. In Mali, they're fighting back with the help of Russia. Brothers, if you see what these brothers in Mali are doing on the ground, they had one region, Kidal, that they were trying to take over. I call them desert rats. In a conglomerate of different groups. A lot of them are black that have been indoctrinated with this thing that is called extreme Islam, where if you're not a Muslim, we got to kill you. But anyway, they're coming in there killing our people, and they came into Kidal to try to overthrow the whole government. But it's the area in Kidal, they were going back to the Arab nations, Algeria, Mauritania, that they go in, kill in Mali, kill in Sahel, and then run back. Kidal is in the center heart of the country. So Russia and Mali kind of backed up, let them get in. They didn't let them get in there, but when they came with this, like they came with 12,000 troops to different areas, but they came with a big contingency to this area. They backed up, let them get all the way in. And now the Russian, they call it the African Corps. The Russians come in with these planes, and they've been bombing, and it'd be strategic bomb, specific bombing. So it's targeted. They're not killing civilians. They're not killing your market. But where the terrorists are, they're leveling them. I mean, you can watch some of the videos. Yeah, one guy, this desert rat, was talking on the phone about how they taking over and they're going to take over the country, and kaboom, he just gets exploded right there while he's live streaming. He gets kaboom, like they getting him. But on the ground, the Malian army, I got pictures. I've always said, and this is just me. Some of y'all might say this sounds sick, but this is just me knowing the kind of war we're facing. I'm not exaggerating. I don't talk about it because there's no reason to talk about it. But I always said, in some of these regions, really, I don't know why, but I always thought about the desert. I guess because in the desert, there's nothing out there, so you can do this. I was like, I would love to see one day with these desert rats that's coming in and doing harm, where we go to the border and take the heads of all of the enemies and put them there. And this is our new border, so that you can come to this border. And if you're in that country, you look this way and see the heads of your people that keep invading our country. Say, yeah, this is our border. And lo and behold, when I go into my chat, they got brothers in the Malian army. They've cut the heads of some of these lowlifes up, these desert rats, and posted them, but they just standing up in these frames. So they just out there in these frames. I'm like, man, I love these Mali brothers. They even have one brother. This is my favorite picture, man. Oh man, and the way it was presented is that he's one of the Malian warriors on the ground in the military fighting these desert rats. And I'm hoping it's correct because I don't want to be false celebrating backwards. But he's got his rifle across his chest. In one hand, he has a head, and in the other hand, he has a head. And he's taking a picture. Now, the way it was presented was he's one of the good guys, one of our guys. But I believe that to be the case. But what I know for sure, Mali has said, because now that they're surrounded, now that they got all the way into Kidal, and now they cut them off and they can't get out, they're begging the UN to help them get out. They're begging to sign an agreement that, no more hostility. And Mali has said, Baba Goita and the Malian army has said, we're not negotiating or having any dialogue. In other words, if you're there, you're going to die. They're doing that Haitian style. I love these Malian brothers and sisters. Man, if you want to know, easy answer, how is it going on the ground? It's going Haiti-like. It's Haitian. That's how it's going. They getting them. They giving it to them, both barrels loaded all day, every day. I love it. I can't, in the morning when I get out, I can't wait to just go in there and see some more bodies. They getting them. And they don't care if you black, if you Arab, if you white, Any one of these terrorists that came in, you're going to die the hard way. They doing it.
Yeah, brother. I have seen some of the information that you presented, and I'm gonna just be honest. That's the time that we're in, and realistically, and I said this before. Globally, women are going to gravitate towards the men who are exhibiting that form of manhood. It is what it is. The soft men, the gentle men, and no one's gonna pay those men any attention. Those men not gonna reproduce. The men that are showing that we're not playing any games. You're not gonna come over here running over stuff, regulating stuff, telling us what to do, killing off women and children, and violating people and all that. The men that are putting a stop to that, especially those that are taking a stand against the Epstein class, as has been said, those going to be the most popular men. And I think that one thing we need to do is spread the information that there are black men in the world who are taking a stand against that type of savagery and brutality, and show people, hey, if you come over here with that nonsense, this is what you get. You get your head displayed on a pike. That's what you get. Plain and simple. A permanent vacation. I thought, brother, you got ripped off. I thought I saw a question from him. Oh, well, this is an excellent question right here. I believe his brother Bola says, how do we get more of us to understand the seriousness of genocide? Would it help to define and explain it per the UN?
I tell you the answer. I saw that question. I thought it's an excellent question. Let me make it simple. We have a video called Genocide, They've Come to Kill Us. It's 2 discs. Any black person I've shown at in fact, Brother Conrad has seen all the work I've done pretty much. When they watch Genocide, They've Come to Kill Us, universally, Brother Mike Graves, Brother Conrad, around the world, people have seen it, said, thank you. It's clear now. That's what I would get them. I would get them the Genocide, They've Come to Kill Us.
And let me give my testimony. I'm going to tell y'all the truth. Before I saw that, I'm like, okay, yeah, they're oppressing us, blah, 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 blah. And you get used to fighting, quote unquote, oppression. When I saw that DVD, and it's funny now because you almost start running around like a chicken with your head cut off, like, hey man, they trying to kill us. We gotta do something. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, that's how you act after you see it, because it's just a different understanding. And again, the brother put that out, brother. How many years ago was that? 12, 13 years ago?
2008.
So, okay, 18 years ago. That's how far ahead the brother was. And sure. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't hear anybody at that time saying that the choice has been made that, let's just eliminate black people, get them out the way. Nobody else was saying that. Therefore, no one else was fighting against it. And yet here we are now, 18 years later, still trying to explain that situation to people. So I highly recommend that. That was the video that made me say, okay, this brother is different, and I got to help him with his work. Brother Genie, did you see any other questions that interest you?
The only one I think I can answer this, unless you see another one, is they asked me about the dam in Ethiopia and Egypt. So what we're looking at, actually, that gives me a way to answer multiple questions. Here's what we're facing. Oh boy. I know I said I got to go now. I'm okay. All right. Let me just lay it out this way. My brother asked a question that I think leads into this answer. He said, is the warrior spirit coming back? I'll say it again, what I said earlier. The warrior spirit equals African survival. Either the Haitian in us comes alive. We go and recognize the importance of Africa. We unify around what we see in the AES, and we tie in internationally, and we survive and we win like the Haitians, or we are doomed. We are now in Haiti, but Haiti is the world. The world is smaller than it used to be because you have trains, planes, and automobiles. You have the kind of technology that you can communicate in a second with somebody 10,000 miles away easily. What that means is we have to know what wars we're fighting and what order they're fought in. So, with his question about Egypt and Ethiopia and the dam, if I name the list of enemies, weirdly enough, the first on the ground enemy that we have to fight in order to survive are the Mobutus, the race traders. We must eliminate them non-negotiably with intent. The most dangerous enemy on the planet is the hat. They're a danger to civilization and life as we know it. That's the prize. Other problems we have that are of major consequence. White folks, period. I don't need to explain that one. Arab. So when you say Ethiopia and Cairo, we must understand what Dr. John Henry Clark said. We don't have to say it every day, but I'm going to say it here. You understand. Africa is for Africans at home and abroad. We own every blade of grass on that continent. Our objective is to push for the day, and it can't be too long away, where there is many non-Africans controlling the African continent as there are Moors controlling Southern Europe. Yeah. There was a time when you looked around Southern Europe, all you saw in leadership was Black people, Africans everywhere. Wasn't that long ago. 700 years of that. Somebody white said, they got to go. And they gone. Well, we're Africans. We have white folks in the southern part at our feet. We have Arabs in the northern rim. We have Zionists all over the place with intent of coming in higher numbers. And we have a lot of Mobutu race traders to help them. The only thing there is on this planet now for African people is war. It's full scale, it's kinetic, and it's time. If you're doing anything else, you're wasting time. Find your way, find your contribution, get in, fit in, let's go.
Yeah, brother, you got ripped off. This was the question that he had. This should be quick. He said, quickly explain the Ukraine involvement in the wars in Africa, because people will think that's a hyperbolic statement.
Okay. So if you want to understand who's assaulting the African continent right now, the major players, you have the hats is the answer. But how do you see the hats? Like when you see the hats attacking Africa, what do they look like? They look like America. They look like France. They look like Ukraine. They look like Israel. And they look like Arab extremism. So anytime you hear Muslim and Arab extremism, Hezbollah, not Hezbollah,
Al-Qaeda and ISIS.
Al-Qaeda, ISIS, but what's the other one? Boko Haram. Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Boko Haram, the JNIM, any type of Islamic extremism is just Zionism, is just hats with Arab face. It's just hats with Arab face. Anytime you see America, it's just hats with red, white, and blue face. Anytime you see French, it's just hats with gay face. These groups are our enemies, but we're fighting all of them at the same time. That's why I say it's Haiti. And so Ukraine is simply the hats coming from the region of Ukraine with Ukraine face supporting this. It's the US, France, Ukraine, and Israel. Those four are working together with the UAE. So really you can say 5 that are attacking the African continent, but it's all hats. They just wear different faces. That's the best way I can answer it.
Yeah, brother, that And that's what makes it difficult for people to identify, because in essence, you have the same enemy fighting you on different fronts and literally wearing different masks. And I think that is confusing to people who aren't paying attention on the ground. So I'm gonna give the people a couple of more minutes. We don't have any other questions in the next 5 minutes, brother. I'll let you go because I know
I'd
you
like
got
to
plenty of
go.
work to do.
If we don't have it now, I'd like to go now. I mean, we don't see the question now, then I'm good.
Okay. Get the people to go on once, going twice. I don't think we missed any questions.
Okay.
Brother, you got ripped off. Let me know if we missed any questions. I know I didn't miss any super chats. Oh, well, let me say this real quick. Brother, you got ripped off also gifted 5 memberships to the channel today. So we appreciate that, brother, for his support. And I'm not even sure how that works, but you all know that we've been releasing videos and they've been membership first videos lately. So thank the brother for that. And also, please go back and watch the latest videos. They're doing something with the algorithm, and they're not letting as many people see our stuff that we put out. You said Brother Tony had a question on Ebola. Okay, I did not see that. Brother Genie, did you see that question?
No.
It says, this latest Ebola attack, is this ramping up? Is this the ramping up of germ warfare?
Yes. Let me tell you what somebody said. Man, I'm saying, I'm going to say this, then I got to go. We put out, they said, America First Global Health Strategy. We came out with this position paper on Malcolm X's birthday, May 19th, talking about bioweapon warfare being launched on the African continent. We already did it in February with the lecture showing what was coming to Kenya. We specifically said Kenya. Then we came out with this paper that has Kenya in it, May 19th. Boom. What we just heard today, whatever, I don't know how it's done, but basically they looked and they said, okay, they're getting in front of us. We got to ramp it up faster. So now all of a sudden, after, we put out this paper, or during that same course of time, boom. Now let's push this Ebola thing and force Kenya to do it. We got to move faster because they're waking up. So yes, it is the ramping up. Yes. It's a fight. It's a war. Yes. That's the answer.
Okay, brother. Well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to talk to the people up to the top of the hour.
Sure.
Would you be available to do a part 2 to this sometime within this month?
We'll talk about it and discuss it. We'll discuss it.
Okay, cool. So, brothers and sisters, thank our brother. As you see, he has a lot of work to do. And you see, he's been doing a lot of work. And I'm not going to lie to you. When I say he works tirelessly for Black people, I'm not exaggerating. You can call this brother sometime 1 o'clock in the morning. Hey, brother, what you doing? Oh, yeah, brother, I'm working for Black people. Wake him up at 6 o'clock, and he's doing the same thing. So y'all give Brother Genie a straight black hand. And I'm gonna just say this. Greetings to Wild Seed. I see you came in a little late, but you can watch the replay. How can I put this? We have to understand something that's very unfortunate and disturbing. People want to kill us. That's all I can say. And the people who want to stop people from killing us are the most important people on the planet. They should be self-explanatory, but Black people don't get it. The preachers are not the most important people on the planet. The imams are not the most important people on the planet. The leaders of corporations aren't the most important people on the planet. The celebrities are probably the least important people on the planet. And unless those people are fighting for survival of Black people, they're detrimental, right? Because they distract us from what's going on and what we need to be doing in this day and time, because we're just in a day and time where they're just trying to eliminate black people. It's plain and simple. So if you could, if you have the capacity to, the ability to support Brother Genie, you can cash out from Ayo Kimathi.com. That's AYOKIMATHI, or $ Irritated Genie. If you enjoy this program and you enjoy us bringing on these type of people, you can support us. Cash App $ DC Radical 1, or Zelle straight black pride _DC at protonmail.com. And you can email us at straight black pride _DC at protonmail.com. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at dc.radical1, on Twitter at DC Radical _ONE. And yeah. So I see we have nearly 50 people here. I greatly appreciate that. I know they're doing something algorithmically to lower our engagement and things of that nature. And so I appreciate you all coming. And I'm working on another video. It should be out early next week. So be sure to check that out, and be sure to go back and check out the videos that we have put up recently. Most of them are 20 minutes or less. And I thank you all for coming through. And if you get the chance, you can go to Baba Baruti Complementarity Conference. It is starting in 13 minutes or so. And oh, do me one favor too before I get off here. Please turn on your notifications and set them to all, because I heard people aren't getting notifications. And so just help the channel to progress in that way. And I thank everybody that has done anything to help us that they can, help Brother Genie and help myself. And go back and watch this again and share it with a friend, because it's information they need to know. So with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you all for listening. With that, I say a BB for ODA and straight black pride. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at dc.radical1. On Twitter, we're at dc_radical_ONE. And the Cash App is $ DC Radical 1. Again, thank you for subscribing. A BB for ODA and straight black pride.